Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, let's discuss the complete set of APPIUM interview questions and answers from very scratch. Okay. If you need this PDF, I have given a link in the description and also in the comment section. Please do check out. Okay, let's get started. So, what is APPIUM? This is the very first question in every interview. APPIUM is an open source mobile automation testing tool used to automate native applications, hybrid applications, mobile web applications on Android and iOS device using the same API. In short, you can give the interview ready answer like APPIUM is an open source cross-platform mobile automation tool that allows automation for Android and iOS applications without modifying the application source code. Okay, and then what are the advantages of APPIUM? What types of mobile applications can APPIUM automate? Why APPIUM is preferred over Selenium? Okay, or the differences between Selenium and APPIUM. What is APPIUM architecture and can you explain the components and flow of it? Explain the APPIUM workflow. What is APPIUM server? What protocol does APPIUM use? What is APPIUM inspector? What are desired capabilities? What are capabilities in APPIUM 2.x? Difference between APPIUM 1.x and 2.x? What is new in APPIUM 3.x? What is UI Automator 2? Why UI Automator 2 over UI Automator? What is Espresso driver? What's the difference between UI Automator 2 and Espresso? What is XUI test? What are APPIUM drivers? How do you install APPIUM 2.x? How to check installed drivers? How to install APPIUM plugins? What are APPIUM plugins? Explain APPIUM client libraries. What are the prerequisites for API automation, APPIUM automation? What locator strategies are available in APPIUM? What is accessibility ID? What is the difference between ID and accessibility ID? Why is XPath not recommended? What is Android UI Automator locator? What is iOS predicate string? What is iOS class chain? How do you inspect elements in APPIUM? How do you handle dynamic elements? What are weights in APPIUM? What is implicit weight? What is explicit weight? What is fluent weight? What's the difference between implicit and explicit weight? How do you perform click action? How do you enter text in APPIUM? How do you clear text fields? How do you retrieve text from an element? How do you verify element visibility? What are gestures in APPIUM? How do you perform tap action in APPIUM 2.x? How do you perform long press? How do you perform swipe action? Difference between swipe and scroll? How do you scroll to an element in Android? And next set of interview questions are based on scenario based. Okay, the login button is visible manually, but APPIUM cannot click it. What will you do? Next set of interview question is again based on scenario based. Application is very slow. Test fail randomly. How do you handle it? And the next question goes like scroll is not working on all devices. What would you do in this situation? Accessibility ID is unavailable. What locator would you use? Your test passes an emulator but fails on real device. Why? What is a test automation framework? Which framework have you used in APPIUM projects? What is page object model? Why page object model is important? What is page factory? Difference between page object model and page factory. What is Maven? Why Maven is important in APPIUM? What is pom.xml file? What is testng? What are the common testng annotations? Difference between before class and before method. What is data provider in TestNG? How do you perform data driven testing? What is a hybrid framework? What should a good APM framework contains? How do you manage test data? What logging framework have you used? What are the reporting tools have you used? What is extent report? How do you capture screenshots on failure? How do you execute APM tests in parallel? What are the challenges in parallel execution? How do you run APM tests on browser stack? How do you integrate APM with Jenkins? And the next set of interview questions are based on scenario based again, scenario based and situation based. Your framework has 5000 test cases. Execution time is very high. How will you optimize? Test scripts fail after UI changes. How do you reduce maintenance? Jenkins execution passes locally but fails in CI. What will you check? How would you design a scalable APM framework for a large enterprise project? A test passes individually but fails when run as a suite. Why? What is a context switching in APM? How do you identify available text contexts? What challenges have you faced with hybrid apps? What is a Chromium driver in APM? Chrome driver in APM. What is deep linking? How do you perform deep linking in Android? How do you handle app permissions? What is app lifecycle management? How do you install an app through APM? How do you remove an app? How do you launch an app? How do you close an app? How do you send an app to the background? What are APM plugins? What is the images plugin? What is APM driver management? How do you capture APM logs? What is event timings API? How do you troubleshoot no such element exception? How do you troubleshoot session not created exception? What is stale element reference exception in APM? Explain a real-time APM framework architecture. How would you automate OTP-based login? What are the biggest challenges in mobile automation you faced? If you were designing a mobile automation strategy for an enterprise, what would you propose? Okay. So guys, next set of interview questions are based on critical based. Your test works on Android but fails on iOS. Why? Execution suddenly became 40% slower after a release. What would you investigate? How would you automate biometric authentication? What if an element changes every build? How would you reduce APM suite execution from 8 hours to 2 hours? Okay, guys, all these interview questions are applicable for 3 to 8 plus years of QA automation testers. Okay, so and you should be prepared for all these technical concepts like APM core concepts and mobile concepts, framework related concepts, CI/CD related concepts, coding concepts, and troubleshooting concepts. Okay, so this will really help you in cracking the interview. Okay, if you need this PDF, I have given a link in the description and also in the comment section. Please do check out. It contains 10,000 plus real-time interview questions for a full stack QA automation role, and it has been built after 13 plus years of real IT experience, and it has been crafted after taking 3,500 plus automation interviews, and it has been designed for someone who is 0 to 15 plus years of candidates, and it covers the actual questions asked in almost all the MNC companies and product based companies and service based and mid-sized companies. Okay, so please do check out and let me know if you have any queries or questions. Thank you so much for watching my video. All the best for your upcoming interview. Happy learning, happy testing.